What's up, party people? You are listening to Conversations with Paycheck and Red,
an inappropriate comedy podcast.
Have you ever taken a photo of your own butthole?
Do you enjoy the smell of hot dog water?
Do you have random conversations about dildos?
Well, this is the podcast for you.
Just two good old boys having no-holds-barred conversations.
All while laughing inappropriately.
Oh, hell. Paycheck and Red have gotten themselves into another inappropriate conversation. Let's listen and see how they get out of this one.
3, 2, 1.
Good morning, students. This is your principal, Dr. Dick Sweats. Our Fighting Cocks chess team will be taking on the Shanghai Knights, who have flown all the way in from China. Go Fighting Cocks! And now, Mr. Percy Jewse with today's lunch menu.
Thank you, Principal Sweats. Good morning, students. Today's lunch menu is Sloppy Joe, tater salad, vegetable medley, fruit cocktail, and your choice of roll or cornbread. And as a daily reminder, students, please do not fling tater salad back at the lunch ladies and yell money shot. It's highly inappropriate and a waste of good tater salad. Go Fighting Cocks!
This is an inappropriate comedy podcast. We talk about it, so you don't have to. I'm Paycheck, and as always, I'm with my boy Red.
What's up, party people? This episode is brought to you by Red's Bong Rips, keeping Clear Eyes in business since 420.
Get it. Get it, boy, get it. Nice. I see you got some bud over there.
I do.
Bud
have a little bit.
Bud must be running amok up there in West Bogart, Virginia.
It is a plenty at this very current situation. It is a plenty.
I remember, getting weed these days is so fucking hard because for some reason all the dope dealers have legit jobs now. So you got to catch them, when they get off work and run their lunch break or something. You know what I mean? It's like whatever happened to where you can just go knock on Pookie's back window. You know what I mean? He'd throw you out a little dub sack.
He slides you a pillow through the screen.
Yeah, at any time of the day, you can get you some green.
Yeah, but dude, you got to think about the things changed from back in the day. Whenever you used to buy weed from the weed man in the projects, selling weed is not a sustainable income for most people. Most people don't get rich selling weed, so they got to get a job.
Yeah, I think people who buy weed need to form a union to keep these guys in check, because there ain't nothing worse than you say, let's say you run out of weed, right? And then you call your boy up, and he's like, yeah, everything's good, come on by. And then you go by, and the motherfucker ain't there. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, don't fucking play me like that. Like, I ain't had none in 2 days. So when you tell me to come over, everything's good, dude, my heart is set on getting some green.
Yep.
Only to be, like, disappointed and almost fucking angry when I get there and I have to go home empty-handed. You know what I mean? Especially if your old lady smokes, you call her up all excited. Yo, I got it. I'm getting it. I found some. I'm going to swing by after work and get it. So she's excited. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a good night. We're going to be able to kick back, watch some Netflix, smoke some weed, you know what I'm saying? Hang out, chill. And then at the end of the night, both of us are sitting on a couch, like, what do we talk about? What are we going to do here?
It sucks being sober.
Well, it's good for the mind. It's good for the body and the soul. Like, cannabis is coming, it's finally becoming mainstream, and people are finally starting to realize the benefits. And I've smoked weed my whole life, and yeah, when I was younger, it was more because I was an outlaw and just a rebel and just trying to go against the grain. You know what I mean? But these days, when you're an adult, you know what I'm saying, you've worked most of your life. You're in some sort of sports, or maybe you go to the gym, or maybe you work a physical job and your body's just fucking banged up, your joints hurt, everything fucking hurts. And dude, you smoke and you're grinning and your body's like fucking numb, you don't feel nothing. So for that short time period of you being high, not on the come down stage or whatever, but when you're, when you get high, it's like your body's like, oh, hey everybody. You know what I mean? It's like everything's fucking great.
Yeah, I can't say the word sober for being high anymore. I think that the correct term is medicated.
Yeah.
Because it's used for a lot of medicinal purposes now, and there's a few states where it's legal recreationally and people can smoke it at will and all this kind of stuff. But I like to think of it not so much as medicine because I don't want to use it as a crutch, but I just, it makes the stressful day a little bit easier, you know what I mean? And whenever you are promised the re-up, and then the man, he ain't at home, or he's on the way home from work, or he's out with his own family, you holding a grudge against that man trying to spend time with his own family because you want some weed, but in reality, he's just doing the right thing by himself, you know what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22, man, it really is.
Yeah, and it's not that for me. It's more of the you have an agreement. Okay, I'm going to get off work. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there at about this time. You know what I mean? And I know that you shouldn't hold your drug dealer up to a certain social standard. You know what I mean? But fuck, dude.
Right.
Be a good motherfucker and stand behind your word. You know what I mean? And I guess in a weird way, it would be the buyer's fault because you're supposed to re-up before you run out. You know what I mean?
Right. There you go.
But there's been times where I've been on day 2 tracking down motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And then he'd be like, "Well, I got something to do, man. Are you in a hurry?" And I'd be like, "Well, yeah, motherfucker. I've been trying to get this for fucking 3 days now. At this point, yeah, I'm in a fucking hurry. Where are you? And do you have it on you?" You know what I'm saying? I will come bust up in your family's restaurant. While y'all sitting at the damn table and throw some money on the table. Meet me in the bathroom. Fuck your family.
Hell yeah.
But see, that's only
Speaking of which, this thing got me by the boo-boo.
Yeah, but that's only possible with weed. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't be fucking with any other drugs, and do it like that because of the type of clientele that come around. You know what I mean? You want some meth head.
You can't hassle the heroin man like that.
Yeah, not the guy selling it, but the type of people that buy it. Like you don't want somebody meeting you at like my homeboy. He would meet me. I could go to whatever restaurant he was with, even if he's with his family. You know what I'm saying? And he'd run out to the car and and fuck with me. But when you're dealing with other drugs, you know what I'm saying? You don't want some grimy fucking meth head showing up at the restaurant that you're eating with your damn family. You know what I mean?
Right.
Scratching at his neck and acting crazy and shit.
He's standing at the hostess table doing this number right here.
Yeah, scratching.
Johnnie. Yeah.
I guess
fuck all that.
I just get aggravated. You know what I'm saying? With not now because I don't smoke now, but back in the day when it was when I was trying to get it, and just you're at school or you're at work. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have something some enjoyment, in your life. Like what do you work hard for? You know what I'm saying? What is your recreation when you get done with work or school or whatever the situation is?
I like to medicate, man.
Yeah.
I like to get high. It just washes away all the stress of the day, man.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about being a truck driver and not being able to smoke is that I know motherfuckers that sit in their truck at truck stops at night after they've already done their deal. You know what I'm saying? They're just hanging out. They got to get their DOT 10-hour break in, and them motherfuckers will sit up there and kill 2 cases and go to work the next day, and that's legal and that's fine. But boy can't sit in his truck and fire up a little J, you know what I'm saying, and smoke a joint and fall asleep and with no hangover in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Everything's good. But for some reason, he can't do that because it's illegal. If I'm not mistaken, they just injected a bill that would legalize it on a federal level.
Oh yeah, it's coming around, man. I just heard or just read on the news, Google News or whatever, that the MLB, the Major League Baseball Association or whatever it's called, just lifted the THC testing for players. So now they're only testing for opioids. They're not testing for marijuana anymore. So if they can release it from the Major League Baseball, and these dudes are getting paid millions of dollars to play ball, how come they can't lift it everywhere else?
Yeah, it's even becoming big in the mixed martial arts world, and the Diaz brothers are really making a name for themselves in the cannabis industry in regards to mixed martial arts. And doctors are finally coming out and stating that CBD oil, THC, is all very productive in the recovery process after a fight or after hard training, or joint pain and just pain in general. There's a lot of medicinal value when it comes to CBD and THC. Like Nate Diaz, this motherfucker was hitting a CBD pen on stage right after a fucking fight.
He was smoking a CBD blunt. He wasn't smoking a pen. He was
Right.
smoking an actual rolled up CBD flower blunt. On stage.
Yeah, that was a different time. But initially, the first time he
fine.
did it, it was a pen, and a reporter asked him, or some journalist asked him, what are you smoking up there? And he said it's a CBD pen, and it's good for muscle recovery and joint recovery. And it's kind of same thing that we just talked about, how this motherfucker's in pain. He just fought 5 rounds, you know what I mean? And he's sore and his body hurts, but that CBD, yeah, I don't know that much about CBD. I know a little bit about the THC, the bud, but I'm assuming that it has the same effects that, bud does, and that maybe it doesn't fix it, but maybe you forget about it, for a little bit, until you wake up the next morning.
I've bought CBD flower in West Virginia here, and it looks just like THC bud. It looks like the bud you buy from Pookie, you know what I mean? But it's CBD.
Yeah, so
it doesn't give you.
Real quick, just for all the listeners, the difference I think is that CBD doesn't have the active ingredient THC. It has all the medicinal values that THC or that cannabis does, just without the ingredient to get you high.
Right, no psychoactive properties whatsoever.
Right. So why is that
I've
illegal on a federal level? If you're not even getting high off of it, why would that be illegal?
It's not illegal. CBD flower is legal.
Not on a federal level. CBD is illegal federally. Wait. In the transportation industry, DOT, if you take CBD oil and you go take a piss test, and I'm pretty sure it shows up in a urinalysis test.
It does, because there's the legal amount of THC that CBD flower can have in it is 3%. So there is that small touch of THC in it, but not enough to get you high. Just enough to relax you, just enough to calm you. You know what I mean? But if you were to smoke it or ingest it in some way, and you go take a piss test, you're going to piss dirty because there's that 3% THC in it.
Yeah, see that's crazy.
Yeah.
So even if it was legal federally, I still don't know how that would work in the transportation industry. Would DOT be able to disregard federal law and say no? Because a lot of these are state regulated, not federal.
They would legalize it on a federal level across the country. Then it would be up to the state how they handle it after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's up to the state individually after they legalize it federally. So, but then if it's legalized federally, I don't see what kind of stipulations the state can put on it as far as legalities, because it's legal on a federal level. There's nothing the state can do, on a federal level, because it's legal federally. So I don't know. I've looked into it a little bit. I haven't dug really deep down the rabbit hole, but I do try to keep up with it. You know, I'm an activist. I'm a smoker. I'm a connoisseur. You know.
Yeah,
I like to think I am anyway. I've been smoking for a while.
try being an activist and not able to smoke. You know.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks.
Right. Yeah, right.
Although
it's coming, brother. It's coming, brother. Just hold on.
And I do know several truck drivers that do smoke. It's just real fucking risky because if let's say you smoke in the truck riding down the road and your eyes are fucking bloodshot or whatever, you get pulled over by DOT, they can piss test you right there on the fucking side of the road. But it's always weird to me, like, how do I know that fucking sample wasn't tainted because it's not in a medical lab environment? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like these medical technicians, you have to initial it. Everything's sterile. Everything's right out of the bag. I just find it hard to be able to create that same environment on the side of the road that you would in a LabCorp or something like that.
Yeah, well, I've heard from a very reliable source here in West Virginia that if you get busted with it in small amounts and they confiscate it in a traffic stop or something like that, they have to send it off to get it tested before they can officially charge you with possession or whatever the case is. And according to my reliable source, the caseload is so backed up for the lab testing that they don't even bother with it anymore. So simple possession charges don't really exist. They just confiscate it, give you a ticket, and send you on your way.
Yeah. Well, I even know some carriers that a driver pissed hot on the piss test, and they didn't fire him. He had to go through some sort of, not a rehab deal. It's fucking cannabis for crying out loud. But every time they have a safety meeting, they get pissed now. And he had to go through some sort of program in order to keep his job. But which was totally crazy to me because I thought that if you come up hot on a piss test for DOT, then that's a wrap for you and your driving career.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you would think it would be, but I believe the stigma on it's being gradually lifted from it, man, because it's so mainstream now and everybody's doing it, medically, that it's not really that big of a deal. And I don't think that anybody's pushing the issue anymore as much as they used to.
Yeah, dude,
you're not in the era of reefer madness anymore in the 40s. This is the 2000s. You know what I mean? They used to think that you were possessed by the devil if you were smoking cannabis and shit. So, the stigma's being slowly lifted on it to where it's not as taboo anymore. So whenever you get busted by DOT, they're not going to fire you. They're just going to make sure you don't do it again, so you don't, slow judge a car stopping in front of you just because your reaction time's a little off. It's a safety issue, not really a personal issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Patrick Stewart, the guy that played in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was him, but many entertainers, actors, athletes, judges, lawyers, doctors, slowly they're all coming out saying that they've been smoking for the past 35 years. You know what I mean? And these are fucking judges and lawyers and shit. So for somebody, you were talking about the stigma that cannabis has, plagued us, in that, well, it makes you lazy or it's a gateway drug. It really depends on the type of person that you are. It can have those effects on you if you're a lazy person already. But if you're a highly motivated, driven individual, then smoking cannabis is not going to create that. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's within you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And which
Absolutely.
is, and many successful people have kind of been closet smokers because of the whole stigma behind it. But as we see all these people finally coming forward and that they've been smoking since, way back in the day and they're successful people, it kind of removes that stigma on cannabis. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, it's not 1943 anymore when reefer madness was run amok and you were, institutionalized for possessing marijuana and you were, pretty much burnt at the stake. So it's only going to get better, man. Every day that goes by, we're just another step closer to being able to sit on our front porch and burn one and not being hassled by the cops.
I mean, think about all the people that are incarcerated right now for just an ounce of cannabis. You're talking about $90 worth of cannabis. I mean, if you know what time it is, you know what I'm saying? You got that street cred. You know what I mean? I hope you ain't paying them sucker prices. But back in the day, $90 for a fucking ounce. And motherfuckers are incarcerated for years.
Yeah, they're looking at 15, 20 years for simple possession charges, quote unquote. They just, I've seen cases where guys are growing it for personal use, and they're getting 20, 25 years max for marijuana. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Don't make no damn sense. Don't make no sense.
Until next time, peckerheads.
Previously on Welcome to Peckersville, Trixie tells Sheriff Litorus and Stevie she knows about an alien invasion.
Ma'am, you're under arrest for soliciting prostitution. Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Oh no, officer. Are you sure we can't work something out?
You know these streets. I need some inside info. Give me something concrete.
Well, I do know where some aliens are.
Aliens, huh? Tell me where you saw these aliens.
Sheriff Litorus and Stevie arrive at the hunt farm.
Sheriff, why are we out here in the middle of nowhere? I don't even think I have phone signal out here.
We don't need our cell phones out here, Stevie. This old CB radio will walk the dog for miles. This here farm belongs to Mike Hunt, the Fighting Cocks High School football coach. Trixie says she was out here giving Mr. Hunt some oral attention when she saw 8 aliens come out of that there tree line over yonder. And, well, we're here to investigate.
You're bringing old Betsy out with us, right, Sheriff?
You know I am, little buddy. You know I am. Betsy here's like a MasterCard. You never leave home without it.
Apply now for your customized MasterCard with a 6% interest rate for the first 12 months.
Sheriff and Stevie get out to investigate the hunt farm.
Holy smokes, Sheriff! Look at all the empty water jugs out here.
Now, why would aliens need that much water? Trixie said there were 8 of them, but I'm counting 20-gallon jugs easy.
Maybe those aliens was just real thirsty, Sheriff.
I bet they were all out here smoking a pot and got cotton mouth. Probably out here smoking some sort of apparatus like a bunch of hippies.
I bet aliens have the best cannabis in the universe.
Oh, Stevie, are you trying to play with Betsy's business end?
No, sir, Sheriff. Sorry, please continue. Sheriff, come over here expeditiously. I found something.
Sheriff walks over and snatches the ball cap from Stevie.
Made in Mexico.
You think these aliens are from Mexico, Sheriff?
No, Stevie. They probably just know they can get that baseball cap for half the price in Mexico. I bet they have some sort of flying saucer that they can just fly down to Mexico and back in a jiffy. Let's keep looking, little buddy. You go that way, and I'll go this way.
Sheriff Litorus slips on something and falls to the ground.
Whoa, shit! Stevie, get over here quick!
Holy smokes, Sheriff, are you okay?
No, I'm not okay, Stevie. I fell and pulled my groin muscle. What in the hell did I slip on?
Sheriff, it looks like you slipped on fecal matter and it's got corn in it.
Corn? What in tarnation? How does fecal matter with corn in it get way out here in the middle of nowhere?
Look, Sheriff, it looks like someone had a bonfire out here also.
That ain't no bonfire, Stevie. That looks like the burnt grass from some sort of high-tech propulsion system.
But what about that tent over there, Sheriff?
Dang it, Stevie, let's investigate one thing at a time. I'm beginning to wonder if old Trixie ain't pulling our leg.
I don't think she would do that, Sheriff. She really likes us.
Trixie is about as trustworthy as a fart in a whirlwind, Stevie. Didn't you see that bulge in her dress?
A sexual experience is a sexual experience in my world, Sheriff.
Well, that's just gross, Stevie.
Stay tuned for next week's episode of Welcome to Peckersville, where the sheriff and Stevie embark on an alien invasion.
You've been listening to the Paycheck and Red podcast. Check out Paycheck and Red on Facebook at Paycheck and Red and Twitter at Paycheck and Red.
And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube for fresh new videos weekly.